80% of global trade is financed by credit. So what happens if banks don't want to lend because your country is a high risk? That's the problem in Ukraine right now because of its OECD risk rating of 7, the worst you can get. This means that many Ukrainian exporters may be having trouble accessing trade finance. As a result, Ukraine needs its own export credit agency to encourage trade finance lending. Clarissa Dan, editor of Trade and Forfaiting review magazine, recently met with Kateryna Barabash, who is MD of IBcontacts, to find out how close her country is to establishing a Ukrainian export credit agency.
Well, good morning, Kateryna.
Good morning, Clarissa.
Welcome to TFR in London.
Thank you very much for inviting me. That's a great pleasure for our company, for IBcontacts, and for me personally.
Can you tell us a bit more about your role at IBcontacts?
I'm managing director of IBcontacts company, and that is working directly with foreign ECAs in Ukraine, mandated by them, and we check the creditability of the local companies and CIS companies in Ukraine, and see some also missions of our company in Ukraine, for example, in international trade development.
Okay. One of the big developments, is it not, is the coming together of the Ukrainian Export Credit Agency, Ukrainian ECA. Perhaps you could tell us a bit more about how that's been coming along and what the latest developments are.
Yeah, that's true. This is a very important step for Ukraine for the moment, and we're going through ECA establishment in Ukraine. I should say that we're on a stage of a very active discussions on a governmental level, and our company is also actively involved in those discussions as a market expert, and also as the organizer of the international events where we can bring international experience into Ukraine and discuss it together with the local authorities in order to find the best model for Ukraine.
That's very exciting. And the draft legislation, it's been in place since November of last year. What do you think have been the main challenges in bringing this forward as fast as we would like it?
Yeah, that's actually the result of those active negotiations and discussions, and this is very good that we have like a visual result of those processes. And we had the draft law in November that is now amended, and we have the new version of the draft law on state support of the insurance and financing of export activities in Ukraine. So I think this is a great step for us, and so we're in the process of discussion of this law for the moment, and there are of course many questions that have to be covered for the moment and that are not answered yet.
Indeed. Ukraine has an OECD risk rating of 7, which is not great, is it? Perhaps you could give us a bit more background about what it's been like for Ukrainian exporters pre the coming of this export credit agency. Could you tell us a bit more?
Yeah. Okay, if we're talking about local exporters, then it's getting very difficult for them to compete in the international markets because they cannot offer like very good conditions and the financing conditions. They cannot, like they're asking for advance payments, for example, or letter of credits that are not very attractive for the foreign buyers. And also now they are looking forward to the ECA establishment. However, as you mentioned, we have rating 7 in Ukraine. That is the lowest one.
Indeed.
Okay, we're struggling for it, but in order to make it higher. But as for the moment, that's how it is. And the rating influences several issues that are quite important. First of all, foreign banks will probably not be very interested in working with the local ECA having rating 7, as we know that the ECA governmental institution will have the same rating as the country rating. So that but local banks will probably do that. They will work with the local ECA. However, it will influence the price of the financing.
I see.
And I should also mention that we mainly export to the countries also with a high country risk.
Yes.
So that's Kazakhstan, Belarus. Well, Russia has rating 3 for the moment, a little bit better, but then also Turkey. that has not very high rating as well for the moment. So then you have two main factors that influence the price of the financing.
Right.
Our local rating and the rating of the buyers' countries.
Yeah.
So that's also, after the ECA establishment, going to be the challenge for us, as well as other important questions, as for example sectors of economy that we have to support in Ukraine, and also the businesses that we have to support, whether we should support the large businesses that export for the moment or SMEs that are just trying to develop this activity.
But obviously you need to support both because they're all part of the holistic
Exactly, that's
picture.
also an option.
Exactly. But given the long-term view on Ukraine's economic progress, how fast do you think the difference this ECA will make to getting out of this risk rating of 7 with better exports and with more health in the economy? Surely we'll be able to improve the risk rating, and that will attract more investment into the country and more banking support and so on. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Okay, I'm usually optimistic.
Okay.
But of course we have to look at the reality, and it will take us probably several years while we will have a real company that is working actively in the market, helping exporters and influencing the trade balance of Ukraine. Of course, ECA is a very good option for Ukraine. But we will have to train people and to develop products and methodologies, and we will not also copy everything from the other countries. We'll have to make our own mistakes and then learn from them. So it also will take some time. But I think that Ukraine has very good geographic position, farming land, and
good weather.
Qualified weather, and beautiful landscapes with seas and mountains, and well qualified manpower. So all these factors will have also very great potential for foreign exporters, not only Ukrainian, and foreign investors. So I think we should develop ensuring the financial risks in Ukraine, and at the end help international companies and also local companies to trade together. I think that if you're traveling to the other country or other city, you never know what you will face there or what you will find there, and you definitely need a map. I think that if you go to Ukraine, you definitely face some risks, some local specific risks, but you need very good information, business information, you need legal support, and if you're aware of risks that you will face and how to mitigate them, then you will be fine, you will have your map.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us here at TFR, Kateryna.
Thank you, Clarissa, for this opportunity. It was our pleasure for IBcontacts team and for me personally. Thanks again.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.